Welcome everyone, my name is Wout. I lead the customer success team for, one more, just in time. I lead the customer success team for CleverTap. For folks that don't know us, we're a full all-in-one engagement platform for mobile apps, and we help you activate, onboard, retain, convert your users in various ways, but we're not going to talk too much about that. I appreciate you all being here because I think this is kind of like the last session of the day, so that's good on you guys for being champions. I know I'm standing in between you and the drinks. And because it is the last day, and you've probably seen a lot of sessions, talked to a lot of people, I wanted to do this session slightly different maybe than some of the ones that we've seen today. And that means that we want to get a little bit more active because I was told it was supposed to be a workshop, not a talk. So you guys will have to do some stuff as well. And hopefully you guys will kind of commit to that, and we can actually make it really fun while learning something as well. So that's kind of my goal. I know the title of this is Gearing Up to Climb the Personalization Ladder to Maximize Growth, and that's actually something that, a little bit of a framework that we build out that we're going to go through, but we're going to do that in a little bit of an interactive way. But what I want everybody to leave with is kind of a framework that you guys can apply regardless of, what app specifically you have, how you engage with your users, but a framework to start thinking about how you can optimize all of the user engagement that you do alongside your user journey. So that's a little bit of the plan. And as we get some more participants who have no clue what I just said, so they're going to be very curious about, wait, what's going to happen now? But that's essentially the plan. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah? Super. That's good. That's good. Awesome. So first, we are living in a time of what we call hyper-personalization. A little bit of a buzzword, if I say so myself. Who considers himself here as a hyper-personalized app, or in the space of we do hyper-personalization? Who would identify with that? Aspirationally. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. So I think that's where it has to start, right? Like we have to have ambitions. But what does hyper-personalization actually mean, right? We all know, yeah, we can personalize a message with a name, or we can send it out at the right time, and that might convert better. We started to dig in that a little bit, and we created a bit of a data science model and a framework around how you can start getting more personalized all the way up to hyper-personalization. And what we call that is the personalization ladder. As we looked at the data, looking at all these campaigns, we kind of very clearly were able to build up a framework to take each step of this ladder. And what we saw is that the more that we personalize in the right way, the more revenue impact we can create. That's, I think, something that we all want, right? So what we're going to do together is climb this ladder, and we're going to do that in a bit of an interactive way. So what we're going to get started with is getting organized around clear definitions, align across the company, personalize for bottom line impact, and then talk a little bit about next steps. Where do you go from here? Because truthfully, you can't do this in 40 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out of our seats because we're going to make little quick groups. And as we get more and more people in here, that's going to be a very fun task because it is a very small room. But essentially what I want is, as we have about 25 people, I think we can create groups of 5, probably. And I can do that real simple by just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How perfect was that? I did not foresee that. So what we have now, everybody has a number. Do you remember your number? Very good. You now get to meet 3 or 4 new people that you haven't met yet today, which is very exciting. So I was going to say group number 1 here, group number 2 there, group number 3 there, number 4 there, and number 5 here. And we can move the chairs a little bit. If anything you walk away with, at least it's 4 or 5 new people that you didn't meet before. So guess what? There's value there already. Sorry. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to go around the room, and I want from each group a random word. Could be anything. Preferably nothing to do with mobile marketing, blah, blah, blah. Just a random word, yeah? So I'm going to point to your group, and then give you 1 word. We're going to go around the room, and I'm going to do a second time, and then you'll have 2 words. Easy? Awesome. This is group number 1, right?
Yeah.
Give me a word.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. I love it. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Go quickly from the gut. Great word. Number 2.
Globule.
Glopio.
You wanted a word. It's a word.
Is it a word? Okay. Group number 3.
Puppies.
Puppies. I like puppies. Group number 4. Training. Nice. Group number 5.
Box. There you go.
Box.
Yeah.
Easy. All right. Second word.
Mexico.
Mexico. Spaghetti in Mexico. Gloppo and
Shoe.
shoe. Gloppo shoe. Love it. Puppies and
Holiday.
puppies and holiday. Love it. You guys.
Mitochondria.
What?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria. Mitochondria. What was your first word? I forgot. Training. Training. Very good. Second word? Box.
Tree.
Box and palm tree. Awesome. All right. So now what's going to happen, your beautiful words are going to transfer to the next group. So group number 2 gets the words from group number 1. 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 1. So you guys have box and?
No, we have spaghetti and Mexican.
Yeah, but it's going to go to that group.
We have
Palm tree and something else.
box.
Palm tree and box. Yeah? Everybody knows their 2 words? Yeah? Something like that, yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Now that you have your 2 words, you as a group have a second task. I'm going to give you about 2.5 minutes to create an app based on these 2 words. So if you have palm tree and box in your group, come up with an app concept that involves those 2 words.
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, yes. Time starts now. Let's go. Here they're very much still discussing, so I'm going to put them on the spot first. What were your 2 words and what was your app? Just to share back with the group. Your 2 words and
Puppy and holiday.
puppy and holiday.
So that like help you set a dog-friendly vacation experience, like pretend it like really like with your animals.
Easy. I like it. Group number 2. What were your 2 words and what did you come up with?
Spaghetti in Mexico.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So we had where to find the best spaghetti in Mexico.
It's a niche market, I would say. It's a niche market. But you can expand, like tacos in Tokyo. This. Yeah, I like it. Good. Group number 1.
Shall I go?
Yeah.
We're going to address the palm tree shortage of the world.
The palm tree shortage.
So
Okay.
it's a gift box idea.
Okay.
For every gift box you purchase, we will plant a palm tree.
I love it. Yeah, it's easy.
Anyway.
It's easy. For you guys here?
Like an education app in the field of biology, so it could be either like for teachers or for doctors and students of biology. Yeah. That's it. And we would monetize in subscription based.
All right, education saves the world, right? And then you guys were the last group. What do we have?
So it's a compare the market. So we had Globule,
Yeah.
shoe,
Okay.
and so it's an app that rates shoes based on like getting rid of sweat.
Wow.
Very niche.
Very niche as well, but this is for athletes, maybe it's a very premier market. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Like we don't want that, right? Like that's it's good. All right. Awesome. All right. So hey, we've got 5 new companies. If the current app you're working on doesn't work out, maybe one of these will. Who knows? Awesome. So congrats. Everybody has a company. One thing you didn't know you were going to walk away with from APS, but you've got a brand new app idea. Now we need to go talk to our users, right? Because, we skip ahead a little bit in our life cycle. We've got users, and we need to talk to them, right? We need to message them, buy your next gift box, because we need to plant another palm tree, because we've got all these sitting in our warehouse here. What do we do with them? We got to go figure it out. So this is kind of like the very first level of our personalization ladder. Very simple demographic segmentation and messaging based on a calendar-based schedule, right? Either from events that happen within your company, could be an event calendar. I think this is kind of what everybody does, right? This is the very lowest, simplest level of messaging that we do. Doesn't mean it's not important, but this is the first step. If we do this, obviously, we'll go see some revenue impact, right? Like we got to message users, they'll come back, we get some retention, we activate some users, but by far not at the point where we want to be. So as you guys have your new companies, as you know very well because you're all in this space, we all have a user journey, right? We go through onboarding, activation, retention, loyalty, whatever we kind of put in place, and we try to plot our users along this line. Now, I know this is a very simple concept, and I hope that everybody kind of has this in place already, but one of the things with the brands that we work with, we very often see is like, all right, we know that we have onboarding, we know we have an activation or a retention sort of like scheme, but like, what does it actually mean to have a user onboarded, right? Have a really clear written out definition of this is what it is, and have mutual understanding of what that is, right? A user who completed X milestone and spent at least X minutes in the app, or a user who's on day X and has done this, or has at least done 3 times that. That means that the user's onboarded for us, and then we go into the next part of segmenting out what we do, and that can really influence how we contribute to our messaging and engagement. But that's not where it stops, at least not in my opinion, because we should go into more like micro segments. Because if we have retained users, which we might have a definition for, right? Users who come back once a month and take a taxi ride on our app. That's a retained user. But within retained users, we probably have power users, hesitant users, and maybe 3 or 4 other segments that we can use to start messaging against. And if we have clear definitions for them, it will allow us to think about, oh, how do we engage with these users as opposed to the other ones? So the biggest mistake or the biggest challenge that I see with doing this is not coming up with these, definitions, because that's probably you and a colleague sitting together figuring out, oh, how about we just do this, run some analysis against it. Yes, this looks good. Let's use this definition and start building engagement around it. The biggest thing is actually figuring out how do we align this across your company. But before we get into that, what I want you to do is go back to your app and figure out the first basic user journey definitions. So I'm going to give you again about 2.5 minutes, and based on the examples that I gave above, come up with, for your apps, for your doggy holiday retreats, for your education platform, for your palm trees, when do we consider a user onboarded? When do we consider a user active or retained? Or when do we consider a user churned? Yeah? Give you 2.5 minutes, come up with, for your brand new companies, what's your basic user definition of onboarding, and which milestones or which metrics do you attach to that? Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, 2.5 minutes. Ready, set, go. All right, how did this go? Easy? No? You guys thought it was easy, right? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Any examples?
We got one around activation, so
Okay.
if we're creating a box, the idea that you can create a gift box.
Yeah.
Activation for us, we said, would be the moment you start the creation.
Okay.
Is a
The creation of the gift box, not the completion, not the checkout. Just if you start creating it, then you're already there.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Struggles to define onboarding.
Yeah.
Right. That's that might be specific, right? Maybe onboarding is not the right term. Maybe you want to say like we just use activation, and from activation we go into a different thing, right? Like this is not a preset thing that, oh my God, we need to have onboarding, right? And maybe it's different for your business. From your group, any?
We nailed all 3, to be fair.
Wow. All right. You want to sit in front of the class or?
So for Puppy Holidays, we
Yeah.
thought the first instance would be just to download and browse. So in terms of
Okay.
onboarding, downloading the app, doing a bit of searching, maybe having a few locations to favourites,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. To be activated, then we thought registered,
Okay.
potentially made a deposit on a location, and then purchased. It's kind of a 3-layered approach to being activated or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then churn is have downloaded, launched the app but not really searched for anything, and then not returned within a certain amount of time. That time probably being about 90 days, just because of seasonality and what did you say, man? Just kind of wanting the holiday.
Frequency, yeah. I think,
Frequency.
yeah, I think we kind of hypothesised 90 days because everyone has a shit day within 90 days wants to book holiday.
Yeah.
Give or take. So it might be
Fair
90
enough.
days,
Fair
but that
enough.
was kind
Yeah.
of
But is it that you send your dog on holiday, or you go with the dog?
This is for you and your dog.
Oh, you and your dog. Yeah. Okay. So if you have to come, then then the idea is. Otherwise, I'd say every week, just give them away for the weekend. No. Great. All right. So that was good, right? Like, all right, we got 3 things, but on the other hand, it was super vague. Because something around like maybe purchase this, maybe that, maybe that, maybe that. right? And that's not bad, right? Because it only give you 2.5 minutes. But I think this is one of the biggest things that I see go wrong in a lot of brands that we work with. That people within product think that activation is this. People within growth or CRM think that activation is that. People within user acquisition decide that activation is this. And so we're all optimizing against the same word, but the wrong metrics, right? And so I think that's sort of the ground level of like, hey, if we want to climb this personalization ladder, if we really want to do this well, if we don't have alignment across this and we don't look at the same data, then we're probably not going to be able to create the right engagement for our users as we move on. So this is sort of a predecessor in order to get to number 2, the second step of the ladder, behavioral segmentation, right? We're still in fairly standard territory here, right? Like a user does X, right? He gets to a certain milestone, therefore we're now going to create certain messaging or change things within the app in order to get them back and in order to do more. But if that alignment doesn't exist, that's where a lot of these things fail, because that either means that you as a CRM manager or a growth marketer or whatsoever don't have the right data to act upon because it's not ingested into the platform that you use, or it means that somebody within product is actually actively trying to change things within the app to make the onboarding period longer, or to get them to maybe from legal even, like try to get them to punch into a bunch of consent things while you try to get active registrations. So that alignment is super important to get to behavioral segmentation. And the framework that lies against this ladder is kind of like defining the right touch points, which is this little model that we see here. Because if we have good definitions, we can define what the milestones are, and if everybody agrees on it, then we can kind of go in and like, now it makes sense to send a message at this point, at this time, through this channel, right? And that's all what we're trying to get to. And a lot of times we make a lot of assumptions in this work. And that's okay, initially when you get started and when you spend 2.5 minutes of thinking of an app. But when you do it in your day-to-day business, having this documented and having clear alignment on it is, I think, one of the most important things. All right, so now that we get to the level of behavioral segmentation, how are we actually going to get these puppies booked, right? Like, how are we going to take them on holiday? So your next exercise is, based on behavioral segmentation, so based on certain triggers or certain entry points of the user journey, come up with a campaign and go a little above and beyond here. Get a little crazy, right? We're trying to get people to eat spaghetti in Mexico. That's going to take a little bit of creativity to get them to do that, right? Like, I don't know, anybody Mexican in the room? Do Mexicans like spaghetti? I'm curious about that. But, so use your creativity, use behavioral segmentation to come up with a campaign or an entry point or a trigger point to say, hey, this is the campaign that we're going to launch anywhere along the user journey to get users to buy a gift box, get people activated on the education platform, take your puppy on a holiday, or buy more sweaty shoes. Non-sweaty shoes? Non-sweaty shoes. Yeah? 2.5 minutes again. Based on behavioral segmentation, what campaign can we come up with? Let's go. I want to hear about these campaigns. We'll start here with group number 5. How are we getting users to use the education platform? Or coming back to it?
We had so many great ideas.
Yeah,
Which was
I forgot
the
what.
one.
We're gonna.
Well, so first we're gonna build a product feature. That's
Okay.
Because we have a product guy here, right? So
Okay.
we needed to build a feature.
All right, of course. That makes sense.
Right?
We've all been there.
So we build a feature which sort of inclines them to opt into geolocation tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Could maybe gamify it. They could search for mitochondria, what it is, Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And then we have their geolocation, and we can send them notifications and engage them based on where they are, right? So they could be at their university or at their doctor's office or wherever they're going to want to study in this app. So that's how we're going to draw them in.
Very good, very good. For the puppies?
So we just one second, what it was we were talking about. So we came up with the concept of a campaign whereby we've got users that have shopped with us frequently, but that's 4 times this year. The holiday in the UK with their pet, we've got a property or property that's available and wants a quick sale, so we can then target those users that have shopped with us over 4 times in the last year, but not shopped with us in the last 60 days, and give them a promotional discount if they shop at a particular location before Sunday.
Nice, nice. So a little churn prevention, figuring out, hey, who are the users that are moving away from us? Can we get them back with a promotion? Smart. Smelly shoes?
really,
We're not doing this. Okay.
we couldn't really agree on what our project was.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. I'll give you guys a pass because 2.5 minutes is really short. Mexican spaghetti, is it spicy? Yes or no?
I think we're going after people that have downloaded the Spaghetti Mexico app and
Yeah.
have not then gone on to book. So we're going to retarget them and say, if it's not the spaghetti, what sort of food are you interested in?
Ah,
And then apply some sort of special offer to do some discounts to get them booking something else. And then
nice.
so we've broken out the category.
Good. I think tacos might be a good idea, but who knows? Nice. For the palm trees.
Yeah, we think retention. We're looking at retention.
Okay,
And how
good.
if you're gifting a gift box, but then you plant the seed, how can you see that progression of the palm tree? Right. So you can come back in and you can see the progression. And if you come back in and reorder, you get free coconut. So inside the box.
Playing the long game.
We're playing the long game.
Nice.
So retention through coconuts.
Retention through coconuts. Okay, I love it. All right. So the action is, the behavioral segment is users who planted the seed, and now we're going to get coconuts shipped to you. I love it. Very creative. Nice. So yeah, that's level 2, and this is still able to figure it out in about 2 minutes, right? If we've got clarity on what the product is, we can do it. Now we get to the part where it gets harder, right? Like, how are we going to really create personalized campaigns to not just send everybody the same coconut, but give you an unbranded coconut with like your initials in it or whatsoever. And those are the last 2 steps of the ladder. And this is really where you get more advanced, and where at the baseline we need that alignment, we need the right data, we need the right context in order to move on. And this is really what we've seen, that these messages or these campaigns really consist out of behavioral triggered deliveries. So not only a user has done this in the past 4 months but has not done that, but really, hey, now we're getting to a user has completed this, or has completed this level, or has done this as well. And there is the in-app component that comes with it. Because now we're not only like, hey, how do we draw you back into the app via push, an email, an SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook retargeting, whatever you want to do, but how is the experience within the app going to change the way you work? And if we're able to apply this level of personalization, we see a far bigger revenue impact that's really going to impact your bottom line. In order to do that, if we go back to our model where we say, like, we got the user definitions, figure out what the next milestone is, plant the palm tree, we're now going to message you and say, hey, come back. If we want to improve on that, if we want to make that even more effective, there's 2 more layers that we kind of got to add into the model. And that's an overall sort of campaign management. So rather than individual messages or emails or push notifications that go out, what does this entire retention campaign consist out of, right? It's an omni-channel thing that has both in-app and outside of the app type of elements. But what is the in-app experience that when a user comes back, and what do we personalize within the app in order to really push through the behavior, make sure that, we need their updated address in order to ship them the coconut, right? Maybe that needs to be part of it in order to get through that type of conversion. So those 2 layers you can kind of add. What we see, a lot of brands that we work with, they get our platform and they start working with us, and the first conversation we have, we want to send a user a message when after 7 days. Like, okay, you want to send them a message after 7 days. So they kind of start here at the bottom. And then we start to work our way up. We ask, okay, why? And what's happening when they open that message? What does it look like in the app? What other things are part of this campaign? Is there a follow-up message? Is there a message before? What milestone? Like, what's the goal that they need to do besides come back, right? And then we get into, okay, where do they actually fit into that user journey? Should that message be the same day if they're in their first 90 days and they are inactive for 7 days, versus if they're been a user for 3 years, right? All those things matter in order to create a very, very personalized approach to how you run your program. So my advice is always go from top to bottom, and then this bottom layer kind of speaks for itself. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Here we can slot it in. And as we enter into this world of hyper-personalization, and AI is eating us alive, and all these things that are automated, and it's all fantastic, and it is really powerful. The tools and technology we have are amazing. But if we don't really know what we're doing when, how are we going to write the right prompts to ChatGPT to spit out the message that's going to work the best, right? All of that stuff is still contextual within our teams, within our analytics, within our insights, within our company that we need to do right in order to create the right engagement through all of this powerful technology. And that's really where the last step comes in, right? Content personalization, which is often a place where people want to start. So you can kind of flip this model to the previous one, right? People say like, oh, I want to do personalization. I want to add the first name in there. And then they say like, oh, see, about like adding personalization to the message doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably because we don't know where the user is in their lifetime, which milestone we want them to hit, what other messages we're sending out, what the in-app experiences look like to define like, does adding a first name work, yes or no? Just adding a first name or just adding a product recommendation does not automatically make the message a better message. But if we do it by applying the right demographic segmentation, behavioral segmentation, triggering off of a user action, and doing it in the right context around it, then all of a sudden we can start to impact that bottom line through content personalization. Now, I'm not going to let you do that for your apps right now because that would definitely take too much time, and your products are, you know, as good as they were. Some of them I could see having some flaws, but you know, I think you guys did an amazing job. But before I wrap up, you know, what I'm trying to say here is like, it's not easy. It's hard to do hyper-personalization. But there's plenty of tools and strategies out there to help you, so you can really do it well. Don't shoot for the moon on day one, right? Build your way up, make sure you stay aligned, make sure you get the right requirements in, because if you want to do it, you need the right data in one place. You need to be able to get the right insights. You need to be able to analyze it and go to your senior stakeholders, tell your CEO, whatever, why you did certain things, why you needed that investment, and how you're going to take the next step on it. But if you do all that, then you can really get through that sort of proactive engagement, right? Skating where the puck is going, if I want to be a consultant. But really drive the right messages to users to make them come back, to prevent churn, to get them to plant more seeds and drink more coconuts. Because in the end, that's all what we want to do: sit on an island and drink a coconut after we had a successful, app launch. So if you do that correctly, what we've seen and what we've analyzed is that even in this last bit, by applying the in-app messaging and the message personalization, we can still see up to a 3x improvement on the overall revenue. And that's really powerful, right? But that only happens if you do it in the right way. So in the end, engage and personalize, that's awesome. But really, assess your user journey, where you're at, identify the right sources of customer data, what do I have available and how am I going to do it, and build on a clear framework that you and the folks around you and your company can understand why you're doing certain things and why we need to personalize further and why we're not testing first name versus emoji X yet, because we're not there quite yet. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it at all, but all I'm saying is work on the levels below that as well, because that's going to give you a much stronger foundation in your overall strategy. Last note, so we're CleverTap. Obviously, we work in this type of environment. We do this. We have a platform that allows you to bring in all that data, get the right insights, build these intuitive journeys, and see in the end the bottom line impact. If you want to know more about that, obviously, that's why we're here, to talk to you guys about that and see how we can help you and help your business grow. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. Once again, my name is Wout. I want to thank you all for your active participation. That was really awesome. I was kind of doubtful at the end of the day if people would be into an exercise like this or if they would be like, oh my God, what is this guy trying to do? So thank you very much. Big applause to yourself, and hope to see you at the drinks.